037. All right. If we'll fill that off a little later, but if not, we'll wrap it off again. All right. Thank you, Nate. I appreciate that. Okay. Just to give everybody else a heads up. Avens is heading out to grab her stuff, and then she'll be over in her area about 9:30 or so, 9:45 to go ahead if anybody else needs their pictures taken, headshots, so on and so forth. She'll be available until about noon. So thank you so much. Okay, right before we get started, we have a gentleman who has to give us about 60 seconds here, so I'm going to go ahead and let him get started and give us that answer.
Thanks a lot. Sorry, I put my timer on, but that didn't work out well. Promise 60 seconds and I am timing. So I'll stop at 50 because I didn't start at that. So Jim Ostrowski from Buffalo, I have a table here for a tiny organization you probably never heard of called libertymovement.org. And been in the movement for ever, 79. I was an elector for Ed Clark in 1980 in New York. So
Thank you.
for a long time, I've been studying the concept of direct citizen action. I never really presented it to the LP because it seems counterintuitive. A political party does political party stuff and direct action is not political party stuff. But then I said, well, that's kind of silly. It has no logic to it at all. So I'm in the process, I'm almost done. I'm in the process of contacting all 52 LP committees, DC, 50 states, and national. And I just wanted to bend your ear when in the future, here I go. I'm already taking up with that, about this concept. So thank you very much. I'm having a great time and appreciate giving me a minute. It's been 10 seconds.
There's some literature that we printed out that's out on the tables out there. So please feel free to read that, some of your Second Amendment stuff and everything like that. So it is 9:17. Mr. Secretary, we'll go ahead and get back into session. Okay. So we are currently in the legal credential. 1 more minute for credentialing. 2 more minutes for credentialing. All right. I understand. I was told that there's a hula hoop champion here. Oh, sorry.
That would be very impressive.
All right, so everybody go ahead and stand by. So actually, while you're doing that, I'll go ahead and give you guys the speed. We still have the JC elections to do and to try to finish our platform. And I do believe that there are a couple of resolutions, hopefully, and we can make it. We're currently at about 2 hours and 40 minutes until we're done. About noon, we have to adjourn. So I'm going to ask everybody. I know we had some fun yesterday afternoon with a couple of things. Let's try to keep it moving and relevant, so that way we can do this. I want everybody to have their opinion heard. But let's try not to be dilatory, if you will. That's actually the first time I've heard that this year. So yeah, so we greatly appreciate that if we could just continue to move. I do believe that we might be talking about suspending the rules to move the JC elections on. But, we'll find out here. Thank you all for bearing with us. We'll be ready to go here very shortly. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as you know, we've had our LPPA shop on display outside the convention hall here, and we've got lots of good stuff on the shop for you guys to go look at on shop.lppa.org. A lot of items we've given out this weekend, and we've got one last. For all the folks who got a breakfast, you were entered in the raffle this morning for this nice bag of Focus coffee with lion's mane and chaga mushrooms in it, and one of our special edition convention mugs. The winner of that was Alison Graham. Congratulations, Alison. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Mr. Smith, would you please give us the credentialing report?
Never had mushrooms in my pocketbook.
So, this morning we had 2 additional delegates, credential in, so thank you guys very much. That brings our total credential to, 66, it seems. And that brings our vote proportions. A majority is 34, 2/3 is 44, and 3/4 is 50.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion to approve the credentialing report this morning? Second. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. That passes. All right. So, Mr. Secretary, can you, unless somebody has a motion to suspend the rule, we'll go ahead and get right back into our amendments on the platform. Mr. President.
I move to postpone platform stuff definitely to the end of Jason.
Okay, thank you. So the motion was to postpone the platform amendments until definitely, not indefinitely, folks, definitely until the end of the JC election. So what that means is we will, if this passes, we will go ahead and stop doing our amendments on the platform, jump into JC elections, and once we're done with JC elections, pick up right where we left off with the platform. Okay, we do have a motion and a second. We have any debate regarding this?
Debate, can we? I'll follow the rules, sorry.
Autumn Pangia from Monroe County. Should we consider just consenting to taking up the remainder of the agenda while the votes are being counted and awaiting the results
We,
for the sake of speech?
yeah, we can absolutely do that. We also have some awards and things like that to give out as well. So thank you. I appreciate it. That's a great thought to keep it moving. I see. Thanks. All right. So hearing no additional debate or seeing no additional debate, I apologize. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed? All right, that passes. So we will go ahead and get ourselves into the Judicial Committee elections currently. Okay, so at this point, I will open up the floor for Judicial Committee nominations.
You nominate for. Do that, but.
You can move back.
We're there. It's on the agenda.
All right, Mr. Ryan.
Nominate Preston Smith.
All right, Preston Smith has been nominated. Preston, do you accept?
I accept.
Thank you.
I'd like to nominate Jacob Winograd, and he has accepted virtually.
Okay, thank you. So Jacob Winograd has accepted. Nick?
Nominate Brandon Bencham.
Brandon, do you accept?
Thank you. I was looking for that. You were just on.
All right, that's, all right, cool. We got that. Pete?
I nominate Brittany Cozen, and she's on the way.
Okay, so we're going to assume that Brittany's going to accept at this point.
She is.
Go ahead, Drew.
I'd like to nominate John Thomas.
John Thomas, do you accept, Mr. Thomas?
I accept.
Thank you.
Let's nominate Julie Perry.
Julie Perry, you accept? Thank you.
And then the name of John Pangia, who is working on getting out of the room and even says.
Okay.
accepts.
So John Panfield, thank you.
Spelled wrong.
Brittany's name spelled wrong.
No. TTNY.
Okay,
TTNY.
let's go ahead. Mr. Preston,
I'd like to nominate Michael Mastacola.
Michael Mastercola, do you accept?
I do.
All right, thank you. Mastercola, not Maestro, Cola, Master. Okay, thank you. Okay, very good. So once we get him in there, do we have any other nominations?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to nominate John Petco.
John Pesco, do you accept? Thank you. All right, do we have any other nominations? Hearing none, I will hear a motion to close nominations.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Everybody good with that? Okay, cool. Excellent. All right, so we traditionally have our judicial committee come up and give a couple minutes to talk. So we will plan to continue. For the sake of time, I will entertain a motion to limit the species and limit the questions. If somebody would like to do that, if not, we can do this all morning.
Motion to limit speeches to 2 minutes.
Second.
All right, we do have a motion and a second for limiting speeches to 2 minutes. Do we have any objection? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Excellent. Okay, thank you. Could all my judicial committee candidates come on up front, please?
You wanted 3. I just want to get through it quickly.
All right. Mr. Secretary, can we get a timer up or somebody get a timer up for us? So that way we know that we're not going over.
Less than 20 minutes, too.
All right, hello, folks. I'm Johannes Earnhardt. I'm speaking for Jacob, who cannot be here. He sent the following. Good morning, everyone. I'm Jacob Winograd. I'm asking for your support to serve on the Judicial Committee of the Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania. I'm sorry I cannot be here in person. I have obligations to my employer that required me to attend a 2-week training scheduled during and after this convention, making my attendance virtually impossible. However, I've prepared this statement to be read on my behalf, and I want to plainly, or rather bluntly, explain why I believe I'm qualified for this role, while also addressing any potential concerns you might have. Throughout my time in this party, I've worked hard to be a voice of fairness, independence, and accountability. When I served on the board of directors, I made it a point to vote based on principle and our bylaws, not on caucus alignment or internal factions. This was clear when I spoke out against LPPA's involvement with RFK's Junior's Joint Fundraising Committee and against endorsing other presidential candidates, even though I personally have strong reservations about last year's nominee. To be clear, I have been in part with Mises Caucus for many years, including serving as state organizer, but I want to emphasize that I no longer hold any formal role in any caucus, and I haven't for over a year. My priority now is the health and integrity of this party. I do not vote straight ticket or take marching orders. I've always been vocal, both privately and publicly, about disagreements I've had with any group within the party and movement. At the same time, I do my best to work with everyone and avoid burning bridges I believe building them. In that spirit, I have real experience with them. And fostering collaboration and seeking solutions instead of perpetuating infighting. Recently, I served on the social media committee to help bring structure and consistency to an area that had become frequent source of conflicts. Whether during my prior service or on the judicial committee or later on the board, I've always prioritized transparency. I've been quick to disclose any potential conflicts of interest and hold myself accountable to our rules because I believe that trust in our processes is essential for this party and function. When my county affiliates were struggling, I focused on rebuilding it with members who are decidedly unaffiliated with any caucus, some even openly critical of certain factions. I prioritized caucus control. And elected at our health and growth of our. I did not prioritize caucus control over health of the party, and I never will. If elected, I promise is simple. I will continue to apply our bylaws fairly and impartially without favor to any faction or individual. My goal is to ensure that every member of this party can trust that the Judicial Committee operates with integrity, independence, and respect for due process. Thank you for your time and consideration. I will be honored to have your support.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Brittany Coe?
Hi, my name is Brittany Cozen. I have only been in the party for a couple of years, but I have tried to get involved in you know me. I want to be on the Judicial Committee. I seem to get along with just about anybody. I don't care which caucus you're in or whatever. That's not important to me. And sometimes I care about you as a person, and I just want to be able to basically make decisions, help with anything like that, and be unbiased and make decisions on what's presented as it's presented and be fair and just in that way.
Thank you so much.
I am Julie Perry from Bradford County. I've been in the Libertarian Party as a member since 2017, but I do believe I've been Libertarian all my life. I just didn't know what that means. As far as my qualifications, I am the secretary of the Bradford County chapter of the Libertarian Party. I have attended most of the conventions under extraordinary circumstances, just given all I have to be here. I have also served, I'm elected official. So I'm an elected official in Bradford County, probably retiring from that this year. We'll see. I always say that and then wind up running again. I've also served as vice president of various large boards such as Farm Bureau and, range. I've helped many locals start businesses in our community, particularly in the nonprofit sector. And I'm very familiar with parliamentary procedure, and I'm pretty familiar with Robert's rules. I think it's a given, and we're all gonna say it, and I believe everyone here is an excellent candidate. I think one of my strengths is I'm not on your group at Facebook. I'm not on the chats. I have no idea who you are. Okay, unless we've talked to the lobby about the kids or something like that. So I feel I truly come in with bias because I don't like this stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, and the last thing I'd say is, I'm leading brevity, so in that, I'm done.
Thank you very much.
Hi, everybody, I'm Preston Smith, currently serving on the JC, and I've served for 2.5 terms. I am a lifetime member of both the LPPA and Local National. I'm a father, somebody who's very judicious and balanced, and believe that you need to consider everything in order to make a fair and just decision. And hope it works for me. Thanks.
Thank you. Who here is here for liberty? The judicial position is often a kind of a quiet, position, one where not a whole lot of people really pay a whole lot of attention to us until all of a sudden everybody's paying attention, and I think that we've all seen that. Anybody who's been in this party for more than a couple of years, you've seen that the judicial committee really doesn't matter until it matters a whole lot. I want everybody that is out here today to know that you have my gratitude for sacrificing, coming here to convention. A lot of you sacrifice, even if you live nearby, even if you are already like a, Allegheny, Pittsburgh, Western PA person, you sacrifice to be here. And this is a party of sacrifice. We don't do this because of the money. I was joking with my cousin this morning that the greatest thing about having served on the JC is that they double every year. My cousin's an accountant, so he said, okay, so double zero is still go be zero. And I asked him to put that into an Excel spreadsheet. But I love this party. I love all of you for being involved here. I really want everybody to stay involved. My commitment to you is that if I continue to serve on this JC, I will do it in the most unbiased manner that I can. I'm a man of principle. I care very, very, very much about my reputation and trying to make sure that I am doing what is right every minute I post myself. If you come before the Judicial Committee, my commitment to you is that I will look at you the same as anybody else. What I care about is the bylaws and Robert's Rules of Order. Thank you all very much for being here.
We're all here today as defenders of liberty. And the Judicial Committee, one of their primary goals is to defend the integrity of an organization that carries the name Libertarian. Many of us are libertarians for various reasons. One of the reasons I am a libertarian is because I appreciate justice. Whenever property rights are violated, whenever human rights are violated, that is a miscarriage of justice. As a libertarian on the Judicial Committee, I would be committed to representing to those outside of the organization that we are a just organization. Whenever we carry the name of libertarian, people associate libertarianism with our party. So if our party is unjust, people are going to assume libertarianism is unjust. So we have to be just within the organization. Proverbs 18:17 says, the way of a man seems right until he is examined by others. And we can often make up our minds based on what we first hear about something, but we have to listen. We have to listen to all sides before we make up our minds. And that's what I would be committed to do on the Judicial Committee.
I'm Michael Mastrocola and I am from Lancaster County and I am the chair of many state committees in years past. I'm also the only at-large councilman that the party's ever had. And I've also worked with a lot of, more than a few people in this room on some of the bylaws that have been passed in the last couple of years. And I thought that this year I would seek to be on the active committee to make sure that everything is followed through honestly and fairly and without prejudice. So, yeah, that's about it.
Good morning. My name is John Betsko. I'm from Delaware County. I've served on the JC for Delaware County and for Philadelphia County. And you just heard 8 very good speeches of why people should be on the JC. I'm not going to give you a very good speech and tell you why I want to be on the JC. I'm going to tell you why I shouldn't be on the JC. I don't really want to be on the JC. I've been serving on the board for a number of years now. And I'm only here because I was asked to run. And I'm gonna have to step back from a lot of my involvement with the party. And I hope that the JC does very little in the next year. So my next year would be a vacation if I was on the JC. And I'm a stubborn person to work with. I oftentimes, follow my own tune and my own reasoning, and a lot of people find that hard to work with. So those are the reasons why you probably shouldn't vote for me. Thank you.
John Pangea, Monroe County. Man, those are tough acts to follow. I'm not really one for words, but what I can tell you is I will follow the bylaws to the T and look to people that have served before me with more experience for guidance. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, excellent. Mr. Secretary, do we have forms for them to fill out? Okay, let's go ahead and get these passed out. We got to make sure that everyone, who gets one is credential. I think we have everybody should be credentialed and voting. Eligible to vote. Let's go ahead and make sure that happens. All right, so while we're getting this taken care of, we're going to disseminate those. This is a pick 5. So the top 5 vote getters will be on the Judicial Committee. The other remaining members kind of goes in order if there was a resignation, something like that. So, yes. So whenever that gets to you, go ahead and pick 5 people or less. That's fine. You can't put more. But then go ahead and let's bring that up to the secretary up here and go from there. So while we're doing that, and once we get the chair, yeah.
Oh wait, Alicia, someone brought it in already. It's right here.
They're gonna reach it straight.
Here we go.
This is French.
We always do. That's right. We always do plurality. Friends, I apologize. Just give everybody a heads up. It's the majority of votes. You do have to get a majority with most of the rounds. So if whoever wins the majority will then become on the Judicial Committee and then you have multiple rounds if necessary. That's my goal. I used to plurality, but
Are you guys all have pens? Everybody have pens?
And while you're doing that, you will also always vote for NODA as well. So that's
Notice the goat.
Is it true if you vote no, all of your other ones don't count?
Yes, yes.
makes sense. Each party's different. That's the logical answer. Yes. So if you put 4 people on, then NODA.
And it's, that's in our convention rules.
Yeah, that's what I'm. The spelling.
Okay, so once you're done, go ahead and bring your ballot up to the secretary.
Yes, my duty.
And we'll get moving on a couple other things. We do have some awards to get out. We'll do that right now as well.
We just bring our ballots up? Okay.
Fine. That's okay. I'll take that in my seat.
Apologies.
Three lovely ladies.
Stay in love.
It's because I'm this side, which is where the teeth is, and everyone's shut down.
For like 5 months. They're not staying.
I didn't see them so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I like the shirt. Gotta figure it.
I like higher ballot.
Okay. All right, so we have an update from our bylaws, Mr. Thomas, on that. If you vote for candidates and your entire ballot will be thrown out. Thank you. That's actually in the bylaws.
Yes.
The convention rules, I'm sorry. We're gonna take a second and while we're getting these in to recognize Johannes Arnars, who was is our outgoing Judicial Committee chair. He served for several years.
Thank you there. I just wanted to, for myself, thank, the outgoing 2-year term, folks who've been helping out. We've had a lot of turnover in the Judicial Committee, just because people have come on board to help out and then accepted roles that, prohibit, continuation on the JC, but there's a lot of really good people. When I got on board, I didn't expect to be chair quite so quickly, but really good people helped out. And then I continued on as chair, and it's a really good group of people. So thanks, everybody. Give a big round of applause to people who've been supporting. It's nice to be the chair when the team is there to do most of the work, and you can be more like a chair rather than, having a lot of the work. So thanks, guys, and everybody who's been involved the past couple of years.
All right, thank you so much. Now, this is going to take a few moments, so I do have a handful of awards to give out. So just bear with me here. We will go through them. If you receive your award, please come up, shake your hand, maybe somebody wants a picture or something. So our first one that I have here on our docket is for extraordinary efforts and dedication as a candidate. Mr. John Thomas. Don't drop that. Okay, we will hold that one off for a second. Okay, this gentleman is not here. This is one of our fun ones here. And this is for our FBI's most wanted. All right, this is Mitch Possum Mankiewicz. He's a phenomenal libertarian, and I know this one's getting ready for some surgery here, so we're gonna get this one again. So.
And Possum is on the award.
And Possum, yes, it absolutely is on the board. Possum, yeah. Okay, this one is an award. I think this is the first year we've done this, but I think this is one of our things we can start getting behind, because I think this is absolutely worth recognizing. This is going to be for collecting the most signatures. John Thomas, don't even sit down, come around right back.
Do we want to turn the projector off so the image isn't skewed?
Yeah.
Pictures?
Yeah, I got some light in my face there.
Get a shake, handshake.
Oh,
Go back.
Yeah.
all right. This one is for an award for consistent commitment to service. Brittany Cozen. Okay, this one, I'm gonna wait to do this. Okay. So we have our rising star and future leader. He is currently sitting over here doing some work for Smith. All right, and then we might as well just get this one out of here as well. Extraordinary service, outstanding contributions to the fight for liberty, with Alicia Goodman. And this is one of my favorites. This is a lifetime of dedication and service to liberty. And I think that is almost understated. Mr. Greg Perry. All right, thank you. So, do you have any other announcements while we're tallying these? I know I did ask, said Ken, this might be the appropriate time if you want to take a moment.
Hey, Mr. Chair. What a good time. Man, it's always good hanging out with all these libertarians. I've spoken to most all of you individually, one by one, about an unusual situation we have on the electoral calendar coming up next year. It only happens once every 24 years. Because next year, there is one, count it, one statewide race, and that's governor. Our party status hinges on that one race. We have to get 2% of the highest vote getter in this November's election. Fortunately, it is a judge election this year, and they're typically poorly represented. Doesn't matter though. It's good. That's good for the lower ticket candidates. Governor needs 5,000 signatures. Should be able to do that, no problem. But what I'm looking for is to make sure that we get that 2% of the highest vote getter in the last election. So what I've been asking everybody is please set up a recurring contribution to my campaign for governor. If it's $1 a month, $10 a month, $10,000 a month, whatever you can afford. The reason why I'm asking this is because what will happen is every month I will have a guaranteed income that I can now I was up late last night. Put together a budget, a reliable budget. So some of it will go to making sure that the website is operational and nice. Marketers, public relations people, all sorts of different areas that a campaign would need. But what's going to really power that is having that budget, because I'm going to know I will have a base that I can build on, a base set of funding. That's where you all people come in. And just a show of hands, how many people did I talk to individually? All right, let me turn around. Who didn't I talk to yet? Look at that.
Talk to Richard.
I never talked to Richard. You know, 20 years ago, Richard was my nemesis. When I was chair, we had a convention and I was chairing it, and he always kept saying, point of order, over and over and over, just to be a pain in the butt. And I don't talk to Richard, but we're very friends.
That was the list we paid for.
So I missed one person. Some of you have already put in your contributions. I noticed that already. And, Joe, you've got a copy of that, this hard copy of that, snub coming to you. Make sure you get it. If you contribute $20 a month or more, you get a free hard copy of my novel. If you do any kind of a contribution, you get a soft copy, a PDF copy. That's my platform novel. Has a lot of ideas that I'm going to be campaigning on. And if you like Atlas Shrugged, it's nice because it's a sequel, but you don't have to have read Atlas Shrugged. So that's the summary of it. Please set up a recurring contribution, $1 a month, $1,000 a month, whatever you can comfortably afford, because that will give you the opportunity to budget, to have a serious professional campaign. And one last thing, I am promising that if I do not get the nomination next year for whatever reason, I will pass on whatever cash there is to whoever you people nominate. This isn't about Ken, this is about us. So let me thank you all again, those of you who have already contributed, thank you to those who are about to contribute. And are there any questions?
What's the website?
It is, I gave everybody, the website is kenk4pa.com. And it's FOR or the digital. I got both bases covered. kenk4pa.com. And is anybody, I got QR codes in the back here. Mark, get your hand up.
So, most people know I was part of your last, most people know I was part of your last campaign and everything. What do you plan on doing differently this year than you have to, or next year or whatever, that you have to pass campaigns?
What am I going to do different this campaign?
Yeah, what's going to make this campaign more successful than ones in the past? Not that they weren't successful, but.
Well, what we're talking about right here, about setting up a budget, that alone is going to make it more successful. Also, now I no longer solve other people's problems for money, so I have the opportunity to be out there on the road. I've already done 4 statewide tours. A lot of you I've met out here in north central Pennsylvania, up in northwestern Pennsylvania, all over the place. So I'm going to continue to do that. Since I'm going to have more of an opportunity to address different groups, I'm going to touch more people. Definitely going to do that. But the message that I'm going to be putting out is going to be different. In the past campaigns, it's always been problem, solution, problem, solution, problem, solution. And that works. You got to have solutions. But this time, I'm going to play the game a little bit differently. To quote, I'm going to quote my legendary adopted Uncle George Carlin. I'm treating it as if it's all one big club and you and I ain't in it. I'm mad as hell, I can't take it anymore. I'm just string them up by their thumbs. I'm going to be pissed off at them. I'm just going to start demanding answers. Why don't the turnpike tolls all go to the turnpike? Why can the Phillies afford $400 million for Bryce Harper, not $100 million for a new stadium? Why are we getting $400 million a year to horse racing? This is nonsense. I'm going to pound it and pound it and pound it. Anger this time. I'm going to be pissed off. Woo! Yeah. It's easy to pick on them too. In the election last year, that's why it's so much fun. In the election last year, over half of the races for state office, state rep, and state senate, more than half of them had one candidate. What is it, Soviet Russia? It's because they set it up for we cannot get on the ballot. They're afraid of the competition. It's tough to get in the state house because they made it so tough. Worse yet, look at the judiciary. They are written in 21 different places in the Pennsylvania Constitution. 21 places. It's a private corporation. They've got a monopoly on the practice of law. And if you try to practice law, they'll put you in jail. Cut me a break. The judiciary is lost to us. We're not going to get it out of the Constitution. The legislature, they set up big walls. There is only one place where we still have a chance, and that's the executive branch. Because the governor has a power, the power of the line item veto. $400 million for horse racing, gone. Any horse racing fans here? Done over.
I got all of them.
Where's my chainsaw? Oh, I'm using an eraser. The tchotchke of the campaign is your little brick eraser, the pink eraser, and it says on it, erase the bullshit. That's the slogan for my campaign. And I'm gonna go through all the special interest stuff. Primary elections, why are we paying for their primary elections? They're just another special interest, sucking at the government. No, gone. DUI checkpoints, gone. Office, I go on and on. I'm not running it this year.
Are you gonna create a TikTok?
Say again?
Shapiro's got a TikTok. Are you gonna create a TikTok?
I do not do TikTok. Well, I take that back. I have a social media guy. See him? There it is. Ask him.
You gotta create a TikTok to compete with Shapiro. Just tag him and everything.
That's a good idea.
These guys.
You got a cell phone number. You could text him spam text in the middle of the night.
Thank you for volunteering as the social media chair. Guys, great.
Plans for a campaign vehicle.
That's a good question. Campaign vehicle. I have a Cybertruck on order. I'm not gonna pick it up for probably next January. I'm looking at right now, just financial situation. And he's gonna have it emblazoned on the side, KenKforPA.com. Plans are still being made. Things are still going along. Any other questions? Volunteers. You want to volunteer? Go to the website. Just put in your, just thing there, volunteer. You want to do something specific? Let me know. Whatever you're good at. One thing that a candidate has to do is take all the different volunteers and weave them together into a solid campaign. So whatever it is you'd like to do, that's what I'd like you to do for me. For example, Ben is really good at social media. He could be really, really good for the party. Any other questions? Oh, I forgot to mention one thing. If you do a contribution, you get a free PDF of my campaign novel, Atlas Snub, Book 1, Separating Society and State. And if you do $20 or more, you get a hard copy. What am I missing? Oh, I'm missing one last thing. Guess what it is?
Everybody drank.
Everybody ready? Join Toastmasters. How are you gonna win back liberty if you don't know how to communicate? How many of you were at the meeting yesterday? Toastmaster meeting. How many go to spring time? And the rest of you are there. Man, oh man.
I was swimming with my kids.
I didn't do that.
I was swimming with my kids.
Good excuse. A good reason. Thank you very much. All right, anything else? Hearing none, please set up the recurring contribution. One-time contributions are okay, but recurring, like I said, it gives me a chance to put together a budget. Thank you very much, and I look forward next year because I want to see somebody better than me who's going to knock me out and get a free pile of cash. Thank you all.
Thank you. Hey, you're a Toastmaster, right?
Sometimes.
Okay. You do a phenomenal job. I appreciate it.
Yeah. One other thing. On Wednesday, March 19th, weeks from now, I will be celebrating my 10,000th day as a Toastmaster. It's 1997, if you're trying to count, do the math. I will be doing the party at Miller's Ale House at 611 and the Turnpike in Willow Grove, other side of the state, long drive. But if anybody's around, come on by. Miller's Ale House, 611 and the Turnpike, 7 p.m. No agenda, just to get together and drink. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. We're getting close to the initial tallies here.
You want to make an announcement?
You absolutely can.
Okay, this is, I've got a preliminary estimate because I got a whole bunch of cash and online donations too, and I tried to go through and do those, but I'd like to report my preliminary estimate for our proceedings from the basket raffle. Come to $2,020.
Great. That's excellent news. That's significant increase year over year on those baskets. And I want to personally thank everybody who brought baskets. They were incredible this year. The baskets, you guys really did go out of your way to put together some excellent baskets. And that's what really so there. So I definitely appreciate that. So while we're waiting here, it's hard to get into any other business because we may be having to do multiple votes and our secretary and assistant, deputy secretary are in the middle calculating. I see Mark walking up to the line. Yeah, I'm kind of hanging out. You can have a minute. Okay, this is our chair of the convention committee. You'll like to take it there.
I'm definitely not the chair of the committee. I just probably the loudest voice on the committee. But I really wanted to acknowledge the people that were on our committee. I mean, the work that Nathan Romay and Alison Graham and Reese Smith and Morgan and handfuls of others that were on other committees that came into our calls to help out. Mitch isn't here today, but Mitch was a big part of helping put all this together. So I think every one of those people, like I mean, what did we have, 10 weeks or something to put all this together? And, you know, the names I mentioned barely missed a call and we're doing stuff nonstop daily. The amount that these people put in time and financially and everything to make this event really nice was just, it was very nice to see. There's a great group of people to work with. Hopefully, I'm definitely not going to do this again. But our committee's going to continue to meet for a few months and we're going to try to put some stuff together to help future committees and stuff. So any feedback you guys have, submit to either myself or on base camp or Allison and stuff. And we're going to try to put together a little bit of a working plan for future committees and stuff. But please thank them when you see them in person and give them a round of applause for, like I said, Nathan, Allison, Reese, and Morgan. Thank you.
All right.
Mark was pretty soft on giving himself a pat on the back there, just saying that he was the loudest voice. The fact is he was the person who was leading the charge and really being the leader that we needed in the committee this year. And so he really, really deserves a good round of applause. Thank you.
Yes, again, thank you to the convention committee and everybody who worked on it. I asked the convention committee, asked people on there to send out a questionnaire, basically to see how our convention did this year as far as events and business and everything like that, and see what we can do better going forward. So we do want your input to see how we can better serve everybody. So expect that in your emails over the next couple of weeks. So, we're still tallying here. I appreciate everybody's patience. You know, obviously, who's done this, it's a process. But as far as anything else, do you have something you were getting up?
No.
Okay.
Do you have anything serious?
I do not have anything serious at all.
It's taxation theft.
Yes. It's when you make them step forward and make it serious. You go down. Yeah, so everybody's kind of hang out. If I got something else, we'll get you.
Just as a brief point.
Oh, sorry.
As a brief point, hope everybody's noticed how great.
The shirt is classy, and I love it. Right, if you need anything else, just give us a few moments, we'll be with you shortly. You want to look at it? They do. Yeah, we can't do any business.
Right.
But yeah. These are one or two dozen. Okay.
That's not a fault.
Yeah, we haven't had time to write it up. Go and speak about it. Until you see back. Alison, I can sign it. All right, Nicholas, you guys can go ahead. You do have something you want to say.
Everyone, Luke from Crawford County. So one of the resolutions that we, were hoping to put forth, today, we haven't been able to, write it up. We were trying to gather information, but there's been a lot going on. This year, there is an election on retention of a PA, Supreme Court justices. Three Supreme Court, justices. And the question is not about an endorsement or voting for any particular candidate. It is whether or not these particular incumbents should be retained. And I would say that what we're trying to say that we should encourage all libertarians to vote no.
So, I don't know, since we can't, I guess we can't do business since they're doing that, but I guess if there, it seems like there's maybe the feeling in the room that we could, endorse the position of voting no.
Voting no on retaining Democratic justices.
Since we can't do business, is there a consensus that we should be voting no on Republicans and Democrats from being in our Supreme Court?
Yeah. We got justices that ruled the governor's, emergency powers during COVID as constitutional. So, on principle, I mean, we should oppose them anyway and allow elections for Supreme Court to happen next year. But on even more principle, we gotta show these people, you can't do that kind of thing.
They also probably clapped whenever our governor signed bombs.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Ken, you should use that for
I'll just open for endorse that position.
So, yeah, if that's coming, we'll, if everybody has a pretty good consensus with that, we might ask for a quick resolution to support that decision on behalf of the convention body. So that way we can, like, resolution, get that out on behalf of the Libertarian Party. They always seem to carry more weight coming from the convention body than they do the board of directors, because that speaks not to just the board of directors, executively, but to the body of the Libertarian Party as a whole. So that is a good position to take. So, yeah, thank you. Do we have anything else? I know Reese can't Hulu right now. But if we got anything else, I'd be more than happy to hear it while we're getting more. He is a professional.
He's just standing there with his hands in his pocket.
Count something.
That's it. Get back to work.
Josh, if you're sorry.
While you guys are here, I'm going to talk about this real quick. As you see, we do have a lot of committees that do a whole lot of things. I didn't speak about that, and Brian Goodnight spoke about that yesterday morning during our report. Every committee is still in need of help. Ken Krawchuk mentioned, donate $1 a day, or $1 a month, $1,000 a month. Our committees run a lot of the same way. We're asking for volunteers to give what you can. Any little bit helps with our committees. We have plenty of things. If you're good at something, we have something for you to do and to be in. These events and our messaging and pushing liberty forward does not happen without those committees. The way that we have our state structured, it is our local county affiliates and our committees that are the shining stars of the party. And getting involved in those committees is extremely important. So whether you can help run the newsletter, or you can do the warm stuff as far as the finance, government, social media, convention, helping with this type of thing. All that stuff, even if it's a little bit of time, 1 hour a month, 1 hour a week, whatever you can do, it goes a long way to helping moving this party forward. We can't make the steps unless we have people to help make those steps. We can't make giant leaps if we don't have people taking those little steps for us. So any help anywhere is definitely appreciated. If you can't get involved in the committee, get involved in your local county affiliate, get that started back up, do something. And whatever the party, Libertarian Party Pennsylvania can do to help, we do have resources and we'll absolutely do everything we can to help out. So we, especially our affiliate support committee has done an excellent job getting us running. And they're getting resources. And these things are important to us. So please get involved. That's why we're here. We're not here just to fight about bylaws and platform every year or every 2 years. Let's get involved and actually push Liberty forward and make this happen. Nick?
Yeah, continuing on that, you mentioned it a little bit in your report yesterday, but at the January meeting, the board of directors did approve a set of goals for the party that I, worked with a bunch of people throughout to put together. Included on that are a set of goals for each of our standing committees for each year. So, for the rest of this year, and then hopefully come back next year, evaluate those, and figure out what the goals for next year are going to be. That way, we have a constant forward momentum versus like a little bit of stagnation that you feel on it, and more direction from the board. So, so basically what I'm saying is, yes, go on a committee, take a look at those goals, review them. If there's something that you want to work towards, join on that. If you, lost my train of thought on where I was going with that. If you are on committees, what we need committees reporting back to the board more often. With these goals, be able to know, are they being met? Is progress being made? And when progress isn't, try to direct more volunteers towards that direction. And get it on track or reevaluate what the expectations are or whatever. That way we can gain some momentum and really start rolling forward.
Thank you very much. If you see a need, if the LPPA has a need for something, or your local county affiliate has the need for something that we are not currently doing, we have that expertise. Let's go ahead and get in and do it. Some of the things that are important to me as far as goals that you're looking at with Nick, we obviously need to increase membership. Okay, we need to increase our committee involvement. One thing that's very near and dear to my heart that we actually had a presentation on last night is the Defend the Guard legislation. I think that we have some excellent inroads with some state legislators that we can push that. And we have some very good people with that. John Thomas, we have some conversation to have about that. So these are some of the things that are extremely important that we can be pushing that needle. We saw what happens whenever libertarians can push the needle. The 2024 election, the election cycle really proved that libertarians are not irrelevant, that we can push that over some window and make a change. So that's something that we need to consider, and we need to take that momentum and build on it. And let's take our next step and let's win something else. Okay.
This year, last convention, we set a goal at $20,000. We came up just short at 19,500 change. So I still think that was really good. Finally starting to do some fundraising. One of the things the committee committed to at our last meeting is we tend to do a lot of fundraising where, while it's fun to go out and drink and have a great time, you necessarily can't, a lot of us parents can't bring your kids to that. So our commitment this year is to have at least 5 family-friendly events, fundraising events throughout the year from the fundraising committee. The first one obviously is the annual Knoebels event, which consistently makes money or breaks even every year, thanks to the good work from Brian with his help with that. And we are going to be presenting to the board for an Altoona Curve game, and a Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs game for the eastern half of the state. We are still waiting on information from the state college spikes to get something out in state college areas to boost recruitment there. And then we are potentially during the football season going to be looking into a charity fundraiser for tours of Heinz Field and the Philadelphia Eagles Lincoln Financial Field. They do have something they do with nonprofits where we can offer tours at a discount and we get like $10 per ticket back. Also, I did find out if you really want to, we can have our convention in the Eagles locker room for like about $3,500 that seats all of us. incidentally.
Just because it's still going.
I mean, yeah. Usually Heights field for about 4,100 in their locker. But, so our plan is basically more family friendly, trying to get you to be able to bring friends out where it's not just we're ramming Rothbard down your throat and maybe we're hitting bowling pins or watching people hit a baseball. Yeah.
What would it cost to have our convention at in the Penn State locker?
I don't know, but I mean, I hear we have some alumni here from Penn State, so they could probably just get us there for free.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
They're nonstop.
Like, I'm sure Nate could just like get us a free. I'm sure Nate could just walk in there and be like, I want the locker room or the field for the day, you know, maybe. The other thing that we're looking to do is fundraising has a core group of 5 very solid volunteers that we cannot do things without. Phil Reinhardt recently joined the committee and hit the ground running. We have Possum Mitch. I like calling him Possum Mitch. And Mr. Pete Schwartz and Philski is almost on every call. And Bradley Simpson, who's not here, I don't think, the convention. So I just want to give them a shout out.
Thank you very much. Okay, friends, thank you. We actually have results now from the vote. It does actually not look like we're going to need to go to a secondary ballot. Please go ahead and drop that. Okay, so it looks like our committee, President Smith, David Winograd, Frank Benson, Stone Thomas, and John Page. Thank you all. Okay, so with that being said, I believe that we can go ahead and delve into our portion of business where we are now. We're literally in the middle of an amendment. Mr. Smith, can you come on up here? Let's go ahead and let's recap that really quickly so that way we can get them.
I have no clue exactly where we left off. So actually, we're in the middle of an amendment, you said, Mr. Chair?
Yeah, tell me about interference. Right now. You have to suspend. Oh, never mind. No, never mind.
I don't know.
Suspend the.
Okay. It should take like a minute.
Do it now.
It was interference.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
I move to suspend the rules and adopt the position, I guess, how do I word this, I guess, how do I change?
I move to suspend the rules and adopt the position that the LPPA endorses voting no on the retention of judges in election this year and charges the relevant committees with putting statements out in support of this.
Okay, we have.
Can we get it written?
What? You need this right.
Yes.
Right. That.
Right.
Okay, so we have a motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
Adopt. We do have a second. We can go ahead and reiterate that real quick. Just in layman's terms, right? Motion to suspend the rules to adopt the position that the LPPA does not endorse. We suggest to vote no. We endorse voting no, right, correct. On the question of retention for the Pennsylvania Supreme Court justice. All Pennsylvania.
All 3 up for retention.
All 3 Democrats.
Thank you. We do have a second? Do we have any debate or anybody wants to object to this?
Yeah, on the suspend.
Okay, we can't on this suspend the rule.
Right, because he moved to suspend and do the thing, just.
Okay, all right.
Check earlier, you said it like.
Even better. So there's no debate on it, so it is, we're gonna rock and roll. All in favor of this motion, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? That resolution is passed. The Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania endorses the position to vote no on all the Supreme Court justices on the question of retention. So we will have that resolution out from the body, out from the LPPA convention body that will come out shortly. Right? So while we actually already got that done, but for your minutes, Mr. Secretary, we are absolutely good with that. That's literally what we're after. So, all right, so back to the fun stuff, right? We are here currently in the voluntary exchange section. If you recall from yesterday, we had a motion from Johannes to remove the word lockdowns and add the word interference. That is currently where we are at. So take a moment to take a look at that, and then we'll pop into any additional debate if we have it, and we will rock and roll from there. Now, keep in mind, it is after 10, so we have about an hour and 40 minutes left.
It's not cool.
We got to rock and roll. So
I thought we were 6 hours behind.
we're now 8 hours behind. With the way we were going yesterday afternoon, it might be even more than that. All right. So we'll get into any additional debate. If we have any more debate on the removing the word lockdowns and word interference.
Schwartz.
Awesome. Okay, here we go. Go ahead and move to a vote on this. All in favor of removing the word lockdowns and entering the word interference, please say aye. All opposed?
The vice chair of the chapter.
All right, that passes. Thank you. Mr. Cosby,
I'd like to add an amendment to section 2.11.
2.11, 2.11.
I just want to add to erase the period after employment. Just add the words without coercion.
All right, let's take a 1/2 of a second here. Let's get scroll down there. All right, thank you. So 2.11, which period are we getting right now?
The one after employment.
So at the very end of the statement. And then after that, you wanted to do what?
Add the words without coercion.
Without coercion.
Period.
All right, so folks, this is an amendment to remove the period from employment and add the words without coercion. Essentially, you're just adding the words without coercion.
Yeah.
Very good, thank you. So with that, I do have a motion for that. Do I have a second? We have a second. We have any debate, discussion, objection on this? Excellent. Hearing none, unless you have something, Mr. Smith?
I think coercion is spelled wrong. I think it's with a C instead of an S.
Yep.
Thank you.
Spelled. Okay, excellent. Mr. Smith?
Chair, Bruce Smith, Allegheny County. The blank above, like previously says, employers must be free to decide. And so I don't know, to me that implies that word. I don't know how you could be free to decide with coercion. Then you would be free if there was coercion involved. So I think unnecessary language. And I'd like the platform to be a bit more precise. Concise.
Concise with a C.
Yes.
Got it. All right, so we've been in other debate regarding this. If not, we'll go ahead and move to a vote. All in favor of adding the words without coercion to 2.11, please say aye. All opposed? Nay. That fails.
That's like the one. That's what you need.
Mr. Durazio.
I would like to propose an amendment to this. I would like to add a new section 214 and then the number.
Down, okay.
That section would read, the asserts the right of consenting adults to provide sexual services to clients for compensation and the right of clients to purchase sexual services from consenting sexual.
All right, hold on one second here.
And I have provided the text.
Thank you, we got it, thank you, still.
All this, that is actually first of going through.
Oh, section 2.
Yes.
Okay.
The section.
voluntary exchange.
Okay, he's moving on to criminal justice.
No, what he wants to do is add a section.
No, but you wanted it under.
No, I wanted to.
Oh, okay. Well, then there was another issue. This is beyond scope of notice, so you need a 2/3 consent vote.
Okay, so where we're at, we need a 2/3 consent vote, and then we could go ahead and move from there. Okay, so we have that information.
You have the text.
Right, yes, we have the text on the screen, or can we get that on the screen, please? And while they're getting that up, Mr. Drazi, do you want to go ahead and speak to your request for consensus?
Certainly. Speaking to economic freedom, Central has been a class of work that has, one, been looked down upon by society, and two, has been supported by the Libertarian Party since its inception. If that language sounds familiar, it should, and it's right out of the national platform. I really would like to see us have an explicit statement supporting Central.
Thank you. Okay, well, do we have that up yet? Okay, we're getting in there. Do we have any objection or debate regarding this? Luke?
Yeah, I would be opposed to this because we already say that, we're already opposed to, government prohibitions in other parts of the platform. This is about assigning like special significance to this particular, profession, which has certain cultural, connotations that I think we should be avoiding as a party.
Thank you. Gene?
Jean Strauss, Allegheny County. I thought this was already addressed in another thing that we talked about yesterday.
Yep. Thank you.
I'd like to call them.
Question? Second. Call, we do have a second. All in favor of calling the question?
Yep.
All opposed? Thank you. We're going to go ahead and call the question. Now, this is for consideration. It does need a 2/3 vote to pass. So if you vote for this, you will be voting to consider this to be added to the platform. Okay? If you vote no, you do not want this to be considered for the platform. After, let's say we get a yes vote, now we have to go ahead and debate this and get a majority vote on that. So if you vote yes, there will be another vote after debate on that. All in favor of adding this, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That fails. Do we have any additional amendments to the voluntary exchange portion of section 2? Hearing none, seeing none, we will go ahead and move into criminal justice form, the criminal justice header, rather, of section 2. Mr. Smith?
Hey, everyone. I do want to give you guys a quick update about how far along the process we are. We have 1, 2, 3. We have 3 more headers in section 2, and they're not as long as voluntary exchange ones. They're just length each. Then we have section 3, which has actually no proposed language changes. So we could sail through section 3 because there's no actual amendments to anything in section 3. And then we have section 4, which is just a few planks that I'm sure that might take a little bit. But we're getting through. We're almost done. Hang in there, please. Okay. Criminal justice. We have plank 2.14. This is the original plank 3.5. Only actions that infringe on the rights of others can properly be termed crimes. We call for the repeal of all laws creating crimes without victims. Criminal laws must be limited to dealing with violations of the rights of others through force or frauds, or deliberate actions that place others involuntarily at significant risk of harm. We support restitution to the victim to the fullest degree possible at the expense of the criminal or the negligent wrongdoer. The rights of due process, habeas corpus, a speedy trial, legal counsel, trial by jury, and the legal presumption of innocence until proven guilty must not be denied. Judges must provide a mandatory instruction at every criminal trial to inform juries to their common law right to judge not only the facts, but also the justice of the law, and thus their ability to nullify the prosecution. it must not be illegal for anyone to so inform jurors. The slight changes to this blank are to make it very precise that we're referring to jury nullification. The blank already references jury nullification. I'm sure you're all in support of jury nullification. It just makes it more clear. This edit was pushed by one Mr. Rob Coburn, I believe. Who was our auditor, attorney general candidate who ran mostly on the platform of jury nullification. So we're glad to have that in. Okay, so that was blank 2.14. Then we have blank 2.15, which was originally blank 1.4. And it says, the so-called war on drugs has failed utterly and has actually made recovery from addiction more difficult. In addition to its huge costs, it has incarcerated millions for victimless crimes, and easy availability of potentially harmful substances is still widespread. We just changed, it said human individuals, we just changed it to individuals to make it less superfluous. Individuals have the absolute right to decide what substance they will use or consume. We call for ending the war on drugs, commuting the sentences of nonviolent offenders, and expunging their records. Then, hey guys, we already had that written. We didn't even clap for it. We already had that. Okay, blank 2.16, which was originally blank 2.2. And okay, this is the section we cut out, but I'm going to preface this by we cut it out because we felt that the section 1, we cover a lot of this. And so we didn't want to be duplicative. Okay, so this stuff that we crossed it out because it's good stuff, but we figured we covered it earlier on. Okay, so don't think, oh, wow, we're abandoning this. We're not abandoning this. It's in other parts of the platform. What we wanted was this sentence at the end, which is really good and fits in the criminal justice header. So the sections that we cut out our property rights are entitled to the same protection as all other human rights. The owners of property have the full right to control, use, dispose of, or in any manner enjoy their property without interference, unless and until the exercise of their control infringes the valid rights of others. The injustice of civil asset forfeiture, where property is confiscated without compensation and without due process, must be ended immediately. And so that property rights discussion was included in section 1 under, I believe, the property rights portion. So that is the header, criminal justice, and now it would be appropriate to hear amendments to the report.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Reinhardt.
I don't know how this would be done. Is there any way you can just say, okay, whatever we've already voted on, and we just move to voting on the whole thing in the 2/3 with all the rest of the corrections? There's not just time wasted arguing over small language differences the rest of the way.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the.
He basically wants to.
Motion to reconsider serialization.
And then just keep what we've already changed, move on with the rest.
You want to adopt the whole platform report now?
Yes, just whatever we've already changed, do that, and then accept the rest.
No, yeah, but you would move to suspend the rules to move immediately to a.
Okay, so that would be a motion to suspend the rules to move to an immediate approval vote.
No. Yeah, we're like continue.
Great, we're very close, right? Yeah, we're very close.
We're almost
Might
there.
be easier if we just.
Mr. Festa.
Mr. Chair, I think the intent was to motion to reconsider serialization. That would put us back to the process we had
To approve.
previously, so we could still make amendments, would be my understanding.
Correct.
If we get into serialization, we wouldn't immediately go to approving or disapproving the whole thing.
You can still. If you can still make amendments, why wouldn't you want to go paragraph by paragraph? So are you saying to move to suspend the rules to get to the final step? The final step is the whole document is open to amendment.
If I might just say, if you guys just let me read everything and just no one makes any amendments when we go by seriatim, then we will accomplish the same thing essentially. Because in the last part of seriatim is that everything is open for amendment again, and then we vote on it. So I mean, if you guys are done making amendments, we can just go through and no one can make any amendments, or we can just continue to work through it.
Which is great, but then that begs me to the question of why did we vote for Syria? first place. However, if that's what we want to do, you.
Has there been a second?
Second.
Well, we were debating what the actual language would be at that point. So I believe the scope of your, Mr. Reinhardt, your motion would actually probably be to suspend the rules to approve a closed seriatim. Am I correct in that? Okay, then,
I don't know.
okay, so if we don't have a motion, then we're gonna continue on. So if we have a motion, I will entertain it, but if we don't have a motion, then we're gonna continue doing exactly what we're doing. Because at this point, we wasted 5 minutes talking about something that we could have just taken care of and probably gotten halfway through the rest of our stuff that's on our list. So let's just move fast, close it out, and then make your amendments, and then approve this. Thank you. Was there any additional amendments to this? To the criminal justice. You good, TJ?
Yeah, I just wanted to see where we were. I got lost.
All right, thank you. We are currently in the criminal justice portion of section 2. Okay, if we don't do that, we're good, then we're going to go ahead and move to the education header. Oh, I missed privacy. I skipped that. Everybody deserves their privacy. Good. Yes, sir.
Okay. Privacy. This is a, one plank header, so this will go quickly. Privacy. This is newly 2.17, was previously 1.6. It said, we support the right to be secure in our persons, homes, property. Protection from unreasonable search and seizure or warrantless spying must include records held by third parties such as email, medical, and bank records. It was previously library records. We crossed it out and put bank records in, because
More applicable.
we thought it was more applicable. We heard from a member that the library records was inserted because there was something under, I think, like the Patriot Act, people were spying on library records. But you read that now and it's not in the public consciousness, it just kind of feels silly. So trying to make it more applicable, we swapped library records with bank records. That is the only change in this plan.
Third parties covered library records.
Yeah, thank you. Do we have any additional amendments to this privacy portion? Excellent. I like to hear that. Okay, we'll go ahead and move on to education, which is also one section.
Okay. Education. This is newly plank 2.18, previously 2.3. Education, like any other service, is best provided by the free market, achieving greater quality and efficiency with more diversity of choice at lower cost. Schools should be managed locally to achieve greater accountability and parental involvement. We support the right of parents to educate their children without government involvement or influence. It previously said the right of parents to homeschool their children. The reason we crossed out homeschool and just made it educate is because this is much more broader. So before it was just homeschooling, but there's more than just public school and homeschool. There's various private schools, charter schools. Now there's, learning pods that we've seen multiply a lot in the wake of COVID. So we just felt this was more inclusive language that covered a broader scope and would be a better choice in a plan.
See, we have additional amendment. TJ
I
goes.
just wanted to add after parents / legal guardians,
So you want to,
amend to add /
you move to amend to add the word / legal guardian to that sentence.
just to cover brand.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Right. Do we have any debate discussion on this? All right, cool. All in favor of adding the word / legal guardians to this, please say aye. All opposed? That passes. Any additional amendments to education 2.18? Okay, thank you. Let's go ahead and move on to 2.19, healthcare.
Okay, everyone, this is our last section 2 header. Okay, so we're getting close there, guys. I hope you're all excited. This one, we made very little changes. Okay. Oh, I understand. I got it. Okay. This is newly minted section blank 2.19. It was originally 2.4. We call for restoring and reviving free market healthcare and health insurance markets thus achieving higher quality and efficiency with more diversity and lower costs. We support the freedom of individuals to determine the level of their health insurance they want, the level of healthcare they want, the care providers they want, the medicines and treatments they will use, and all other aspects of their medical care, including end-of-life decisions. No government may have any power to issue mandates regarding medical care, including vaccine mandates. Communication between doctors and their patients must always be completely unrestricted and confidential. So originally it was must instead of may, but no government must have any power, which doesn't sound right. No government must have any power. We thought grammatically, no government may have any power was more grammatically correct. Hopefully we're right. I don't know where Mr. John is. I know he has an English major. He might.
You're right.
So.
All right, thank you. We got somebody comes to the desk already. TJ Cozen, go ahead.
Sorry, my amendment strikes the whole thing, rewrites it. I consulted with the Medical Freedom Board. This is how we think it should be written for the Medical Freedom Caucus. Healthcare decisions belong to individuals, not the government. I have the right for them.
Okay, have you given them the writing?
Yeah, I have the majority take it.
No, I did not tell me what he wanted to go.
Oh, sorry, it would replace.
All right.
Okay, well, when you're done, just read it, then when you're done.
Yeah, go ahead, read it. No, we'll start putting that in.
Healthcare decisions belong to individuals, not the government. We call for the full separation of healthcare and state, restoring free markets, informed consent, and medical privacy. No government or institution may mandate vaccines, nor may they restrict or mandate any medical treatment. We oppose vaccine passports, medical discrimination, and liability shields for pharmaceutical companies. Medical freedom is a fundamental right.
Thank you. Let's go ahead and get that up on the screen. I will at this point take a second.
No, I
If you'd like to speak,
understand it.
okay, we will.
You do that and each.
I'll second. Get into this.
Okay, we have a second, and we're asking for some clarification as far as to educate us what this means and why we're doing it.
So in essence, what this does, the language that we currently have, it's vague enough where we're not actually telling the government that you can't tell us what to do in a medical procedure. It's very clear when it comes to vaccines that with the anonymous reading it to a doctor, that they can't force the vaccine down your throat. However, it's not very clear that a doctor can't tell me that your blood pressure is too high while you're having a baby, so we're giving you an epidural whether you like it or not, or we're cutting your baby out of you whether you like it or not. You want a home birth? Well, the paramedics don't think you're healthy enough at home, so we're taking you to the hospital without your consent. That's what it's not covering. It does happen though, and I am a paramedic, my wife's ER nurse, and I can actually tell you, I've heard countless stories, it's just in the LP. For instance, our former national chair, without getting into too much detail, had her brains completely violated when she had her baby. And I don't agree with her on a lot of things, but what happened at that hospital was a tragedy. And she was force-fed opiates while she was having a baby without her consent, and it happens all the time. UPMC, to our former chair, made it very public, so I'm not disclosing any of the which, LPPA, was told his child could not be seen at a doctor's office at UPMC unless they put a mask on a little small child. The old writings, while it covers some things, does not cover everything. And in the Medical Freedom Caucus Board are doctors, nurses, who will see this every day. My wife is told in an ER every day during COVID, she can't tell a patient about ivermectin. Because it's not by the American Academy of Pediatric Doctors and the American Doctors Association. So the way this wording does, is it basically makes it very clear that we want the government completely and utterly out of healthcare. The government is full of lawyers, not doctors. They are dumb as hell when it comes to healthcare, and anything they touch, they tend to screw up. You need to rely on doctors in the field, not doctors at the FDA, which is a government organization, not doctors with the Americans for Pediatrics Association, not the doctors that sit in the ivory tower and go to the White House and Congress say the little titles after the name, but doctors that actually deal with patients on the front lines, let them go back to home visits. You know, your doctor, if he does a home visit, this is why they don't do home visits anymore. Because the doctors in the '70s, you called your doctor, you said, I have the flu. The doctor came out. They don't do it anymore because they will get sued if they do something in your house that goes outside the scope of the big wigs and ivory tower wall. And that's why, at least it's virtually the same language, it just basically says definitively the state needs to get out of healthcare. Because if you think COVID was bad, it's gonna get worse with the new measles outbreak and then whatever else bullshit they come up with.
All right, thank you very much. Do I have any other? Yes, sir. All right, and then, and as we're doing this, again, remember, let's go ahead and give our name. And our
I'm sorry.
Word.
Oh,
That was the recording. That was the recording.
That's the report.
Go ahead, Seth.
Yeah.
Seth, I'd like to say for anything on your healthcare platform, you're planning, I would suggest that your medical records should be treated just like your financial records. Or they should belong to the individual and not all these other organizations.
And we have that privacy.
Yeah, it's covered in privacy.
Right, but the mechanics behind it, do any of you guys have a card with your medical records? You don't. They should be treated like your financial records.
I agree.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other debate, discussion regarding this, Mr. Arnold?
Johanna Sargent, Allegheny County. Considering this, I just want to remind everybody that this is not our internal operation statement. The other piece for people coming to us and learning at a high level and getting just enough to know where we stand. So as we consider this, just consider how detailed we want to get, and how little needs as a document.
We love to get into the weeds.
So, remember the weed? The record there, the last minute, it's written as fight, you're right.
Fundamental fight.
Fight for your rights.
Okay, guys, let's get Mr. Chair, slowly to a stop. Go ahead.
Mr. Chair, well, I will take care of that. I call the question.
Thank you. Questions from anybody who's on the question? All right, excellent. Now we're gonna go ahead and move to a vote. All in favor of getting rid of this, the first paragraph and replacing it with the second paragraph?
Be able to read it again?
Yes. Can we slide that?
It's proposed as.
Do I need to give you time, Gene, to read that?
Yes.
I'll give you about 6 seconds. Just give me a thumbs up and you're good to go, Gene.
It's gonna be nice.
Again, this is gonna be a vote for replacement of the above language, the black, and replacing it with the green language. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Hey.
That looks like it passes. Okay,
Thank you.
right, that has passed. Do I have any additional amendments for this now, since we are now there? We're not, we'll go ahead and move into the transparent and limited government section, which we are out of that section, so we'll go back into.
In order, Luke answered, Cavalier. We didn't have any amendments to these planks. Do we still have to read them for Sarajevo?
People are gonna wanna read them, so read them. They'll take us 5 seconds.
Okay, this.
It might not take you 5 minutes because it opens.
So this, section 3, the transparent and limited government did not change at all, except for the numbering. It was misnumbered 3.6 to 3.5. Is everybody okay if we skip reading through that so we can get to the?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. So we go ahead and just pass on that. We're going to, what I think is a really neat thing, I think that we might be one of the first states that has like a state issue in the platform.
Can I get the front too?
And let Mr. Smith start.
No, sure.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second, get them started.
All right, we're running away.
Yeah, sorry, it's the same, yeah, on the front and the back.
I just wanted to point out that. Everyone, guys, Luke answers, Charlene County.
when Reese and I were working on the platform, I actually went around and looked at every other state party's platforms. None of them have a state-specific issue, section, and my thinking was, we have, we're a state party, we should be speaking, we should have something like that's more general, but also a section that speaks to state issues, and this would be like the first of its kind among LP.
Okay, so this is our final section for the day, guys. Exciting. The first one that we have is plank 4.1, which is the original 3.8, and we don't change any language in it, but I'm going to read it for you all just so you know. The primary mission of the Pennsylvania National Guard is to aid Pennsylvanians in the most desperate times. The National Guard members have been unavailable to fulfill that mission in recent decades because of unwarranted commitments to the federal executive branch. Thus, we call on the governor of Pennsylvania to withhold or withdraw approval of the transfer of the Pennsylvania National Guard to federal control in the absence of A, a military invasion of the United States, or B, an insurrection, or C, a calling forth of the Guard by the federal government in a manner provided for by Congress to execute the laws of the Union, provided that said laws were made in pursuance of the delegated powers of the Constitution of the United States. That, of course, is support for the Defend the Guard legislation. Very exciting. Okay. Okay, so next up we have section 4.2, plank 4.2. This is a new plank, but it is based off of the resolution passed last year for food freedom. So it says individuals have the inherent right to make decisions regarding the food they grow, purchase, sell, and consume. Small scale and local food producers play a vital role in providing diverse, high quality food options to individuals. Government regulations on food production violate consumer choice, stifle innovation, and cartelizes food production. We support the deregulation of food markets, the lifting of anti-farming zoning restrictions, the repeal of ineffective and unnecessarily food safety regulations, and the abolition of the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture. Yeah. And of course, that is from our food freedom and responding to our last convention. Next, we have plank 4.3, which we pulled from one of the other planks. I forget exactly what plank, but we pulled this from one of the other planks. And it's about the Pennsylvania School Board. And so we crossed out the language. We call for the abolishment of the Pennsylvania Liquor Control Board. We also call for the elimination of alcoholic beverage licensing, which just restricts competition and creates opportunity for corruption. We change it to, we support the abolition of the Liquor Control Board and the deregulation of the importation, exportation, production, and transportation, selling, and consumption of alcohol. We just felt that was a better way to word it, more in. Okay, the next three planks are all new planks that we created to be in the Pennsylvania specific issues section. 4.4, plentiful, reliable, and cost-effective energy is essential for human flourishing. We support the deregulation of energy markets, ending restrictions on energy production and export, ending energy subsidies, and the abolition of the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection. We all know energy is a real big topic here in PA, so we thought this would be appropriate to include in our PA specific section. Then we have plank 4.6. We support the abolishment of the Pennsylvania Department of Education and the repeal of state standardized tests and curriculum. And we also have,
as a friendly amendment, you probably.
I'm sorry, but it's not quite in order right now while I'm reviewing them.
You just slow pace. Yeah, yeah.
And then we support plank 4.5. We support the abolition of the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation and the privatization of all transportation, goods, and services. Okay. That is the Pennsylvania specific sections, and now it would be in order to make amendments to that.
Would it be in order to put just a friendly amendment to either reverse 4.5 and 4.6 or renumber them appropriately?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, we missed that. So that's a, but can we not make that an amendment? Can we just have consensus just to swap those?
That's how.
Thank you.
All right, so then this is not part of that, section two where we had to break everything out so we can make an action on any of these here. Mr. Burke? Brandon.
I hesitate to bring this up because, like, I think many of the delegates, I think also motivated for us to wrap this up. And I have a problem without a solution. So I'm appealing to our collective brain power here to maybe just examine this, bring this to your attention. My concern is if we scroll to 4.1 and the section where it says B, where it just says, you know, the Pennsylvania National Guard, the federal control in the absence of an insurrection. I would encourage us to maybe just take a second to look at that and, you know, framing it and post a, you know, January.
Insurrection, not January 6th.
Yeah, I wonder if this could be worded or limited to some sort of
Violent civil unrest.
Yeah.
Declaration of war.
Yeah, again, I don't have perfect solutions. I'm appealing to the delegates to maybe just examine this and see if we can come up with some sort of wording that might make it more closely aligned with our intent. Thank you.
A civil war.
But, Mr. Smith?
Some additional context that might be helpful. I believe this language, when we put this in a couple of years ago, it's not part of the, last year. It was last year, I thought it was 2 years, but nonetheless, not important. Part of the reason for the way it is important is to match, the legislation which matches like other laws and constitutional things. So just for some context, doesn't mean we can't change it. I just wanted you guys to know that, but it is meant to parallel, certain parts of the defending guard legislation and, other laws. Just now.
All right, thank you. So without a motion, we continue on.
I would like us to take a look, just scroll down to the concept of abolition, sort of things. John Rosso and I were discussing, maybe do something that is more palatable for Brandon, which is something along the lines of up to, you know, the reduction up to the abolition of these sorts of things. Our goal is to make gains and reduce these areas as much as possible. And we don't want to scare people away, but the allies with us who are maybe not as inclined to go straight into abolition. Although that's theoretically the most appropriate approach.
Okay, so to be clear, are you making a motion to amend to put up to abolition on 2.4?
State news up to full abolition. Well, we're gonna leave next. Okay, help me.
At the reduction up to the abolition. So this, like, well, let's get this started because it's being concise. We're looking at 4.6.
All right.
4.5 and 4.6. And 4.
We can get.
Can we keep 4.3 and I'll roll with the other ones?
Yeah.
It's entirely get rid of it.
Okay, all right, so what you're asking for is amending 4.3, 4.4, 4.5, and 4.6 to say
Substantially reduce
The scope.
the scope.
up to and including the abolition.
Substantially reducing the scope of the department up to and including the abolition. Something.
Okay, something we need a little more than something like that. We're getting this as far as the policy goes. So let's get that done here super quick. Then we'll get seconds and whatnot and get.
Also, it's 4.2 also.
Oh my goodness, 4.2, 4.3, 4.4, 4.5, 4.6.
I don't want to.
We did call for the abolition. Okay, so that's excellent. Just keep in mind, the more you add, the more we can get into debate. That's all I'm saying. So, I mean, you guys are good with talking about up to abolition for the next hour.
The state of Vermont can be, in line. You can walk in and get it when you get it while you're opening your car. It's been that for years. They won't use full help. Just let it know. I love it that way.
Absolutely. Okay, so yeah, we're at the point where they're getting that done. So if you don't have points of order or amendments, you can come to the microphone. We do additional amendments. for discussion on this. We still have to wait to get that in there so it gets set. So if you have something you'd like to talk about, that's not having to do with this amendment particularly, or making a point of order or something like that, it's important.
I don't remember if there's not, I think it was there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and then for dispose of this.
I think that was just a lag word. Especially.
Chicken broth.
It can be at least agreed to.
It's your motion.
Hey, I'm there, where was it? Because people kept saying that away.
I think for some reason, Mr. Chair, it's the fact that actually has a cat down on top, and she has like 4 or 5.
Okay.
Are we ready?
Well, you could read it and then come back.
Yes.
I thought you had.
And
What is your honest? If you approve, this was, so at each section where it goes to say we support the abolition of X department, we support the reduction of the scope of X department up to and including its abolition.
Perfect. Thank you. And sir, you are in what county?
John Russell, Motor.
Thank you. Okay. So when you heard that, okay, it would be the reduction and the scope of said portion of this up to and including the abolition of said portion of this. Do I have and that is from section 4.2 down to 4.6, getting added, replaced in all of those. Do I have a second?
Second.
Do we have any further debate on this? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and move to a vote. All in favor of adding this language from 4.2 through 4.6, please say aye. Aye. All opposed?
Nay.
Approved. Passed. Thank you very much. And I'm going ahead and do that. We will go ahead to Mr. Mastercola.
Were you up then?
He's not at the meeting, so it's all you.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I have an amendment to 4.1B.
4.1B.
Yes.
So whenever you get a second, let's go ahead and get on up there. This may take just a moment while they get that language in there. I appreciate it. That's fine. No, that's fine. I just said it would be a minute. You guys take your time. You're at your mercy. You do what you need to do. I know that I've done this job at convention. I understand it's not a fun or easy one, so. Yeah.
I'll shave half.
Shave the other half, so what Greg did.
I can hook you up.
To shave the opposite half of the day. You agree.
Super quiet for a second.
Say something powerful like taxation and stuff.
We said that earlier.
Google Apollo affair.
Apollo over there?
So
Yes.
is that the uranium thing?
Yes.
I don't know if anybody's heard about this.
I have.
Like, we were literally just talking about this with some of those guys last night. Here in Armstrong, or not here in Armstrong County, but Armstrong County's basically the next county west of us. What did you say, back in the 60s?
Yeah.
650 pounds of high-grade weapons uranium went missing. And they think that it actually went to Israel. There's a whole lot of crazy stuff. If you get a chance to look into some insane stuff, look that up. It's the Apollo uranium thing. It's absolutely insane. So Drew just blew my mind whenever he was talking about that last night. Just 650 pound of high-grade weapons.
Walk away.
Assets you get.
Yeah, just pretty incredible.
Unify Iran.
All right, Mr. Secretary, are we getting close to that?
Yep, just here.
Just about there. Thank you.
I thought other controversial events.
More than one controversial events, like. There's a lot of that. We've got a couple bits here. Pennsylvania.
That's a year. Oh, yeah.
Right here in Butler, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Reese has the
Yeah,
dirt.
we do have time for announcements. Some guys I think want to talk to just about other things than come.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure you all saw the shop display outside of the room here. We've got lots of great items that you can purchase online. On our 2 yellow standing signs, we have on the not this side, but on the opposite side, one of these QR code signs, it directs you to the shop URL, that's shop.lppa.org. Please go there and check out all the great stuff we have for sale there. And then we do have one clearance item right now. This is a convention shirt from 2023. Normally $25. Today, $5. It is a small. Hey, thank you so much. All right, Mr. Secretary, we good?
Yep.
Okay, we're going to 4.1, section B, 4.B, correct? Okay.
Correct, Mr. Chairman. So at any time, government can call the LPPA or label the LPPA insurrectionist or causing a civil war or creating civil unrest. So I would move to remove section B.
Okay, so we have a motion to remove section B from 4.1. We do have a second. Any debates on that as you would come up?
The problem with striking it out is this is not just what's in the law, it's also within the Constitution as what is specifically called for when the National Guard. It's allowed for, so, and I believe insurrection is the word used in the Constitution. So, yeah, the problem is that, you know, the way it was written was to make it so that, it would be compatible with the Constitution.
Right, thank you. So for the record there, what you're saying is that you don't think that necessarily that the insurrection is the word, but it is actually in the Constitution and
Correct.
the scope of what the law is.
Which Constitution, state or federal?
United States.
I thought.
Both federal.
United
States. It's federal, United States Constitution, federal. So, right, I mean, so I would say I would have to oppose.
Whether the word sucks or not, it's there.
Correct.
Go ahead.
This is our platform, not the United States Constitution. We don't support everything that's state law. So if that's the case, let's put in our platform that we support gun bans, that we don't think 18-year-olds should be able to possess a handgun because that's the law.
This is like,
Let's not back down. This is platform, not the law.
okay, so
I support Republican.
all right, thank you. Go ahead, sir.
Tim Lloyd, Allegheny County, just point out one thing, if somebody wanted to comb through this, they could point out that we are removing strictures on insurrection, which would be something that tends to be new against the Libertarian Party in the state.
Thank you. Anybody else here for this amendment?
Brett Van from Bucks County. So I was trying to workshop this, and I don't know if this is like perfection here, but I have some potential language that we could put in there that helps to limit it. That, you know, I don't want to motion on top of the motion unless it's within order, but. Okay.
We have one more mayor from Abigail, one more time.
I motion, I motion to amend the amendment that we strike that language and replace it with an insurrection that unjustly employs offensive force in breach of the non-aggression principle.
Okay,
Let's
go ahead and bring that up to them, please. Let's just make sure we get that correct language in there. This could be considered insurrection. Yeah, we have a most wanted. I've been told I am on the functional wish list. It's not a good one. I'm not as hard to as you, man.
But it's just your metadata, don't worry.
Right, just a minute. And my yellow and black flag on Facebook. That sounds very George Bushy.
Is every express. Everybody's every express. We all know.
All right, is that our wording that we're looking at? Okay, so we have an amendment to the amendments, and the information that is provided on the screen in front of you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, you have a second. Any debate regarding this amendment to the amendment? Mr. Rosso.
John Rosso, Butler County. I, like all of us, probably feel
which is why we're going over this a little, see about the extraction because of what recently happened in the country. May I offer maybe a friendly amendment to the amendment to amendment to amendment? Whatever we need to do, but just stating in the debate here that I would cut that down to simply adding unjust between and insurrection. So an unjust insurrection. It's important that we are making, well, right, it's important that we're saying like, it's not indivisible. We need to be divisible if we need to be divisible. It's a very important platform of this party. And so very simply, without going into any further verbiage, an unjust insurrection. There are just, and it could be that simple. That's all. Thank you for your opinions. Yep. Just appreciate it. So I'm speaking with, I haven't amended, okay, that's currently out of order. And just, so look, we are at the amendment to the amendments. All right, so is there any more debate on the amendment to the amendment? We cannot go any further. We gotta take care of a couple things beforehand. Okay, all in favor of the amendment to the amendment of getting rid of the, instead of getting rid of that blank, putting an insurrection that unjustly employs offensive force in breach of the non-aggression principle, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? That passes. Okay, so that now becomes the amendment, my friends. So instead of getting rid of that in its entirety, and go back to this real quick. We're gonna have him first, then we'll get to you, promise. Okay, so now, yes, so instead of getting rid of that in its entirety, you're now looking at this portion of the insurrection on just the offensive force. Mr. Mastrocola.
I have an amendment to the new language.
So you have an amendment to the new language.
Move to add the language in accordance with Pennsylvania State Article 1, Section 2.
In accordance with Pennsylvania State.
Article 1, Pennsylvania State Constitution, Article 1, Section 2. Which preserves our right to get rid of corrupt and tyrannical government.
Okay. Can you go ahead and make sure that he has that information, please?
I mean, here's the thing.
Oh, but no, I just wanted to speak against this if it's the appropriate time.
Yeah, we can go ahead and speak against it at the top or before.
I mean, it's not a terribly big deal on platforms, but I hate when, one document cites another document. This Constitution, Article 1, Section 2 could change.
Yeah, exactly. That probably do that for every single.
Yeah, I don't know if there's
like platform.
Yeah, so also speaking against this, I kind of like the idea, but I think that the original proposal that's listed as B above really does answer the question. We are clearly responding thoughtfully to what would happen with the supposed insurrection. So I think that actually becomes a valuable thing that we can show the public. Whereas the other ones are arcane.
Yeah. Thank you. Do we have any other debate? Opinions on this?
I don't know if it's in order, but amending the amendment.
Nope, it is not.
Call the question then.
Okay, the question has been called. Okay, all in favor of calling the question? All opposed? Thank you. The question has been called. All right, all in favor of amending the amendment to add the verbiage in accordance with Pennsylvania Constitution, Article 1, Section 2, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That's fails. Yeah. Okay, go ahead. I know you just did all that work to add that in. Get rid of it. Mr. Ross. John Ross of Public County. Like offer an amendment that we change the language in B to simply an unjust insurrection. Okay, so get rid of everything else except for B would say an unjust insurrection. Do I have a second? Second. All right, we have a second. Let's go ahead and get into the debate on that. TJ, you were there first.
I would object to it just because who decides what's the just insurrection and who decides what's not? I mean, it's a matter of perception at that point, so anyone could just say our insurrection's unjust. At that point, I like the added language, we can actually later on maybe add a little bit more to it, so.
Yeah, honest, I'm not gonna lose a lot of sleep over, but I like the branding of keeping things simple against the branding document and not our own internal debate document. So if an insurrection that is unjust, I think it invites good questions from the outside. Thank you very much, Reese. Are you good? Are you on the second?
I think sort of the open-endedness is kind of a value to it. I think, I remember earlier yesterday, debating about sometimes things got too narrow. I think leaving it a bit broader is, valuable.
Yeah, it seems like we're picking and choosing what we want narrow and what we don't want narrow. Luke, all of this. Call the question. Question has been called. All in favor of calling the question? Aye. I'm sorry, we got a second there. That was my fault. All opposed to calling the question? Okay, question has been called. Okay, all in favor of removing that current line and adding an unjust insurrection in its place? Please say aye. All opposed? Nay. That passes. We just changed that 3 times, so. Congratulations. Okay, so we have any other? Actually, now, I'm sorry, that was an amendment to the amendment that we had to pass, right? So now, this is our current back on the original amendment. So we were 2 deep, now we're 1 deep. Do we have any additional debate on this? Or are you gonna give me another amendment to change it to 4?
No, not this one.
Okay, so we're currently on the amendment. Do you have any other debate on the amendment? So this is still in 4.1 section B. So if we have any other debate on that, we're gonna go ahead and hear that now.
Make sure
It is.
question or follow.
Libertarian.
Is this going to eventually say that it doesn't show you in opposite direction?
No, so what, yes, so, okay, so this has been changed a couple times to B is now our amendment. So it's either going to pass or fail. It'll go back to the original.
If it fails, it says.
So if it fails, it'll go back to an insurrection, okay, to the original language. Okay, so that just, so everybody understands, we were 2 deep, then 1 deep, and 2 deep, and 1 deep, and 2 deep. We're back to 1 deep now, okay? So it is either what you see on the screen for B, or it is the original language.
I'm going to call the question.
The question has been called on the amendment. We have a second. All in favor of calling the question? All opposed? Thank you so much. We'll go ahead and move to a vote. All in favor of this amendment of an unjust insurrection, please say aye. All opposed? Passes. Thank you very much. Additional amendments to this section, TJ Coates.
I would like to add a section D that states states that all power is inherent in the people. The people have the right to change, reform, or abolish the government as they see fit.
Does the secretary have this thought?
It is literally the verbiage from the Constitution.
Okay, that's not what I asked.
The last actor one just being Reese.
Okay, so to catch you guys up, we are going ahead and adding amendment to add a section D. And he's putting that language in there. If you heard him, that's excellent. Let's hear a second on that. Second. All right, we have a second. And then we're gonna go ahead and get into debate, because I see we have somebody. What, point of order? Okay, everybody hold. Okay, all right, so everybody, we have a asking for unanimous consent.
Reason I figured
section. Do I have any objection to removing that? All right, excellent. That point is withdrawn. We have any additional amendments to the Pennsylvania issues section? Okay, if not, then we'll go ahead. Do you have something, Lou?
Not for this section.
Okay, so what's going to happen now is this was the.
That's the last.
Krawchuk.
Thank you. My dad?
Well, you are Mr. Krawchuk.
Okay. Early on, I was gonna mention something else got in the way.
where we're talking about nothing we get in the way of the distribution, manufacture, consumption of alcohol. I would suggest we put in and cannabis.
Oh.
And which
Wait,
area?
it's
Right
first Pennsylvania issue.
First Pennsylvania issue, so you were at that.
No, we made it. No, there it is, 4.3. Yeah, supported the abolition of and the deregulation of alcohol and cannabis.
First should be.
Still have a broad section.
Cannabis, so the
Oh,
last
all right.
word we like just add and cannabis to the end of that.
So if we have, correct,
Okay.
but if it's already in the other section, never mind.
Okay.
Thanks anyway.
Okay. Control cannabis. Yeah, this is about the liquor control board specifically. We have a drug war section. It doesn't say cannabis specifically, but it is a drug war section.
That's fine.
Okay, thank you. There was no motion made. Okay, so, Mr. Smith, where are we at? Is that the final portion of the platform?
We have now gone through the entirety of the platform by seriatim. Congratulations, we have completely read the current platform, and depending on how you go, possibly the new platform altogether over the past days, so that's nice. Especially because I don't think a lot of people read the platform, so now we all know it.
Yeah.
There will be a quiz next convention to test retention. Okay, but now we're in for.
Yes, all right. So now that we have completed the seriatim portion of our agenda, ladies and gentlemen, the entire document is now up for amendment. Okay? I have it. Okay, so let me just explain super quick where we're at. Okay, it is 11:20 a.m. 11:21. We got roughly 39 minutes to try to get this done. We do have amendments to go, and then we have to approve this by a 2-2 margin. So considering that there are 39 minutes, let's please make this concise as possible. Mr. Enders, scroll back up to section 1. Wait, no, my God. This is the only thing I have. All right, go down to
1.3.
1.3.
Non-aggression?
Yeah,
Last slide.
good, wait, right there. Move to replace retaliation with retribution. Okay, so we have a motion to change the word retaliation with retribution. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, any debate regarding this? Okay, all in favor of removing retaliation and adding retribution instead, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
We have any other amendments? Are you serious? Oh, we got one, maybe.
Maybe, I'm thinking,
Maybe,
I don't want to hold people up, but I kind of have a point of information, and perhaps the government share would be best to answer the joint. I didn't see an anti-war plan in there. Defend the guard.
That's
so
only somewhat.
Okay, so
The active military can still be employed.
yeah, I think so. Yeah, there was no. So when we went through and we're working on amendments this year, we just sort of looked at what was there and tried to improve upon that. We added a lot of planks, but they were planks that were sort of filling gaps between planks. As well, we are at the state level, so there's not too much we can do federally. We generally view the Defend the Guard as our anti-war plank, because it's trying to bring the Pennsylvania National Guard home. But I think, yeah, did anyone know of any other planks touching on anti-war?
The non-aggression.
Well, yeah, not a principle touches on anti-war, but not super directly. So that's my question.
We're kind of taking the temperature of the room here to see if there's any.
What I might make a suggestion, that since we don't have any language or verbiage, that we actually put that on the governance committee to perform a plank to get that language written on.
I would love to move for that. I would love to make that motion.
Okay, so we have a
think this is kind of out of order.
Suspend the rules,
Refer to the government.
Yeah.
Issue to the governor.
So we have a motion to suspend the rules to
Refer an
anti-war planning to the governance committee.
I'm good with that.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Any debate? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, hey. You guys have that now, okay? All right, any other amendment you got? Okay, what's that? Okay, do we have any?
Can I just have a point for personal privilege?
Yeah.
So I've been speaking with, Luke and, Reese about this, and they've been working hard on this, document by themselves. So we have a lot of opinions in this room. It's really easy to get onto the platform committee and work with those two to get this right in a couple of years, but if you had issues, so I suggest, working with the committees with what you want in the future.
I agree. Thank you. Now, keep in mind, okay, we're gonna go ahead and move into discussions. Keep in mind, we spent the better part of 5 hours working on the platform, right? And for us to do all that work and then literally just turn around and shoot it down, literally we just essentially waste 5 hours of our convention time. Okay, when that happens. So we're gonna open it up for discussion, see if we've got anything else. I'll start with Mr. Smith.
Reese Smith, Allegheny County. Mr. Chair, I rise in support of the platform report that is presented to us today. We have spent a lot of time all together working through this, making it better, making changes. I think we've had a wide variety of input. We've had a lot of votes on things. I think we've done a lot of work to improve this platform overall altogether. I know it's not perfect, and I know everyone has at least one thing they don't like about it. I myself have things that I don't like about it here and there. We run into a sort of a game theory issue where if everyone votes no because of the one thing they don't like, we continue with what we have and we make no progress. It's a little clunky this year because we have essentially just one big amendment that reorganizes it. But I think that was absolutely essential to create a much better flow in structuring, which will last for years to come and make the document much more usable in the future. I encourage everyone to vote yes, even despite the few things I know you guys won't like. If we all vote no, then it will fail and we be stuck at square one. If we all vote yes, then in the future, we can have a series of amendments, one by one on individual planks, trying to fix the individual things you guys don't like and hopefully make it better that way. So please, I encourage everyone to vote yes on adopting this amendment right here. Thank you.
The sentiment, I keep going back to considering that this is a branding and positioning statement document, not just for us internally to iron things out. And I'm very empathetic to Mark's particular concerns about the 1.1 through 6 and versus the original 1.1. I think that we should take a look at that phrasing as the 1.1. What I like about the new phrasing is the 1.1 really speaks well to people who know libertarianism and know philosophy. And it's very concise to us, but it's not so clear as it might have seemed to everybody who's informed in this room. And I think that by elaborating on these 6 points rather than leaving it all to one, that's imagination that most people haven't even contemplated yet. And I'm totally with keep it simple, stupid, because a lot of my comments have been, let's keep it simple. Let's break it down. Let's get it more concise. But in this case, I think it's better to be a little more elaborate and give people a few more breadcrumbs for positioning and branding so that people can look at this and say, this dovetails with what we're seeing, what we like with Doge and so forth is happening right now.
Thank you. Roy.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I appreciate all the hard work and I think it's very sincere and very good. And I have no serious objection to anything we say, but I think our overall concern has to be the effectiveness of the platform at attracting and capturing new members. We don't want to remain a small debating society forever. We want to become a large and successful political party. So I believe sincerely that the platform without all these amendments is more effective at attracting and capturing new members. So I'm sorry, but I recommend it and no vote on it.
Thank you. Luke. I'm just gonna call the question. All right, the question has been called. Do I have a second? Second, all in favor of calling the question? All opposed? Question has been called. Okay, friends, this is going to take a 2/3 vote to adopt this platform. Okay, So this is for, we are at the point we are going to adopt the entire platform itself. It requires a 2/3 vote. So all that work we've done is now come to this culmination. For that, I'm going to ask that we have a standing vote just to be on the safe. Actually, you know what? We'll go ahead and do a voice vote first, just to be safe, just because I may just be overthinking this. So all in favor of adopting this platform, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? No. That passes. That's going to be done. Who do we have? Mr. Smith?
I just want to take a moment to thank the whole body. We proposed pretty significant changes to both the bylaws and platform this year. The governance committee has been working very, very hard. So we're glad that you guys liked our work enough to adopt both the bylaws and the platform. Now we have to work really, really hard at redoing the policy manual as well, because we just adopted a kind of new set of bylaws. So we will continue to work hard for you all in an effort to make this party run a bit more efficiently from that. And so thank you guys all very, very much.
Thank you so much. I want to thank you all for your time this week, and I appreciate it. Do we have any additional announcements or anything else before we get a move on?
Yes, Mr. Chair, Morgen Mogus, Suffolk County, I'd like to introduce a motion to introduce a resolution to adopt Project Decentralized Revolution.
Decentralized revolution. Okay, we
Yes.
did talk about that at our last board meeting.
Yes, and it was pushed to this convention, so
Correct.
get it out of the way now.
Okay, great. So this is a, friends, this is a motion for the convention body to endorse the national platform, the Project Decentralized Revolution.
As a resolution.
As a resolution. Do I have a second?
Resolution.
Okay, thank you. Let's go ahead and debate on that real quick. Go ahead, or speak to you.
Do you want me to just like read off the language or?
Yes, let's go ahead and read off the language. Does the secretary have that language?
I can get it.
Let's do that as well. While you're doing that, go ahead and through that. Then I see we have a somebody else probably in opposition already.
So you want me to just read it off?
Yes.
Okay. Resolution to adopt Project Decentralized Revolution. Whereas the Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania recognizes the critical role of local offices such as mayor, council, supervisor, commissioner, and school board have in nullifying unjust laws and regulations. Whereas the LPPA recognizes such local races have a 33% higher chance of winning their elections regardless if they are opposed or not, which has been a consistent data point since the 1990s. Whereas the LPPA upholds exceptional electoral results in local elections and municipal cycles and utilizing local candidates for state representative and state senate for ballot access in statewide races. Whereas the LPPA acknowledges the importance of issue coalitions with outside organizations to advance the cause of liberty in our communities, such as drug decriminalization, Second Amendment sanctuaries, and Defend the Guard. Whereas the Libertarian National Committee has voted to adopt Project Decentralized Revolution as the party's electoral strategy by a vote of 14 to 1 to 1 to 1 at the August 2024 meeting in Miami, Florida. Now therefore be it resolved that the Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania adopts Project Decentralized Revolution as a streamlined strategy to snowball our successes in municipal races year over year. Be it further resolved that in order to maximize our successes, the LPPA will incorporate competitive races for mayor, council, school board, and township supervisor with tenable win conditions. That's important. Tenable win conditions alongside our existing outreach for uncontested races to build a base of strong local leaders to run in higher level races in the future. Be it further resolved that the elections committee of the LPPA will work together with county and state leaders to ensure our scope and the races we run in, to expand our scope in the races we run in and grow our successes in local elections and municipal cycles, retain our ballot access and join issue coalitions in even year elections, and funnel those even year candidates into future municipal elections.
Thank you. 2 quick questions. I just want you to provide for me. Number one, this is what National is doing, correct?
Correct, yes.
And number 2, is this a recommendation from the Elections Committee?
Yes.
Thank you. All right. Mr. Pesca.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a quick correction. The motion which committed it to today's board meeting was going to be taking place later today, not at this convention.
That was under the assumption that it was.
Okay, well,
It's still passed resolution.
It still has resolution, but I was the one who made that motion, so I just want to be clear on that.
Okay. Thank you. We're just here in front of us now, Mr. Zagat.
If I may just ask the gentleman from Butler and I,
the question is, I'm just confused on why we need to pass something. Isn't this already what we do as a political party?
No.
What are we trying to accomplish that we're not already accomplishing?
So the past few municipal cycles, we focused on uncontested rates, which is great. We should be looking for those. But in order to expand our success. Probably go on the button. I should go, yeah, sorry. Should be in order. So to answer your question, no. So what we've been doing the past few municipal cycles is targeting exclusively uncontested races, which is great. We should be. But in order to expand our successes, there are several races all across Pennsylvania with very low win conditions and have some teeth to them, like mayor, council, supervisor. So all I'm asking in practice, what this will look like if we're incorporating those races into our multi-maneuver strategy, a lot of what Project Decentralized Revolution is built off of what we've accomplished here in Pennsylvania. So in order to further increase our successes, we're going to be incorporating those very low tenable wins, say like 250 votes or less, you win the election. Those are some races that we should be targeting as well.
I just don't know why we need a resolution for that. I mean, if we didn't do that in the past, I think that was a mistake on our part, not a mistake on our rules.
So the reason I'm bringing this up is to get consensus from the membership and our leadership to expand our scope, just so everyone is on the same page, and that's why I'm bringing it up now.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Greg Perry, Bradford County. This is a very, on my part, a reluctant voice that I'm stepping up at. I'm going to rise in opposition to this motion. There is nothing particularly wrong about Project Decentralized Revolution that I'm opposed to, although I think it really rehashes a lot of stuff that the Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania has already done, has already found to be very successful. My concern here is that Project Decentralized Revolution started off as a Mises Caucus fundraising effort. And regardless of the fact that it's been adopted by at the national level, if still anybody is looking for information about it on the internet, they're going to find Project Decentralized Revolution. All that information comes from the Mises Caucus. Now, I'm not opposed to the fact that it comes from the Mises Caucus. My concern is that I have, as I think a lot of people know, I have tried to bring back people into the Libertarian Party that left because of the caucus wars. And I'm trying to convince them that their participation will be welcomed and that we can grow better. And I just feel that we're branding the Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania would be branding themselves as being thoroughly controlled by the Mises Caucus, and that is going to hurt bringing people back in that we do need for growth. And that's my a very sincere concern. So that's why I'm opposed to this particular motion.
Thank you. You have a rebuttal for that? Guys,
Yes, so
I do. So let's keep going. We got 20 minutes.
Oh,
left.
if
Let's keep it
Johanna
quick.
has-
I got like 9 people at the table.
Yeah, I think that that acknowledged, I think that what we need to be is looking forward and I think be a little bit post-tribal. And I am wearing a Mises Caucus band here. I've always been very neutral in the education of anything that's related to where we fall as a party and how we interpret things. I think that we need to be a little bit more distilled as to let's let the tribal past be the tribal past. And I'm totally aware of the hurt feelings and the animosity, a lot of it legitimate, some of it overblown, but we need to get beyond that. And I think that's what's really nice about this approach is it's valid. If you read it and you didn't know it was Mises Caucus, you would say this is actually really tied in with what's transpiring nationally. There's a lot of momentum that is wind directionally. It's the weather vane is pointing libertarianism right now. We need to capture, get as many sales up in as many venues as possible, not just politically, but across the board. And the decentralized revolution, if you read about it, dig into it, is very strong in that capacity to build bridges, build liberty, because most people are a lot more libertarian than they realize. And a lot of times they're just accidental Marxists. I use that term all the time. They don't even know they're about Marxism, but they are. And I think that what they actually, when they get introduced to some of the concepts, look at the momentum, the popularity of cutting billions of dollars of waste, right? Let's be directional with that. Let's get all the way down to the grassroots. That's what this does, not just in politics.
Thank you. Alison Graham, you want to move the microphone?
So I am in support of this, I think, and I'm not a member of the Mises Caucus as being in support of this. Whenever I hear decentralized revolution, I actually think about like the Ron Paul revolution sign with the lynch in it. And I love that the term revolution is in there because that's what our country was founded on. And that's this, we're the state, like, I'm sure there's other states that are gonna listen to this recording, but we're the one state that does this the best. There's no contest, right? Like, we're way up here with local elections and everybody else. I challenge them to catch up to Pennsylvania and we need to be taking it to the next level. But this shows a strategic commitment for people that want to run for office and we're a political party. And knowing we're all on the same page with a strategy that works and is proven to work in Pennsylvania and take it further, the next step, we should be absolutely the banner leaders. So when 2026 comes around for Grand Rapids, Pennsylvania proudly marches into the room with hundreds of elected libertarians showing how good we are doing this year to year. And it just makes it the policy moving forward. So I'm all for it.
Thank you. Okay. Again, you still have like people up the mic. We keep getting people up. If you have, if somebody has already said something, you can say, you know, I support this or something like that. I don't want to hear it again. I will bully you into sitting. So, you know, it's going to happen. So we'll go to Brandon.
Brandon from Bucks County. I also rise in support of this motion. I see nothing in this resolution that's going to be limiting our leadership. I expressed concerns earlier in this convention when we had language that I was concerned that we're going to be putting our leadership in a position where we're taking away their ability to be able, this is just a strategy. And with this strategy, we are looking at taking the fight to the enemy. We are looking at going and making real meaningful moves. And I don't care which background you are. I think that if you are serious about this fight, you are serious about us advancing liberty in Pennsylvania and across the nation, you ought to consider voting in favor of this resolution, because this is a strategy where we actually get in the trenches and we're ready to actually push back against the state that has been encroaching on us for years and years and years. I'm Brandon Bettram and I endorse this resolution. Thank you.
I will this as well, and I would like to address Mr. Perry's concern. This is something that may have come out of the Mises Caucus, but that is kind of like the Genesis fallacy, where you say, I'm going to taint this thing as this thing because of where it generates from. And I think that we in Pennsylvania, as Ms. Graham was saying, we have an opportunity to make this not a Mises thing, but a Pennsylvania thing.
Yes.
Oh, that's the thing they did in Pennsylvania. That's the thing that brought liberty to Pennsylvania. So let's make this not a Mises thing, but a Pennsylvania thing.
I agree.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Reese Smith, Allegheny County. Mr. Chair, I rise in support of this resolution because it focuses our efforts and our focus onto local candidates. I just ran for Auditor General and I got 1.8% of the vote. But Benjamin Stevens can win Hollow Borough City Council. Pete Schwartz can win Township Supervisor. We have Chris Logan winning in Connequenessing Borough Council. We have
President of the council.
President of the council too. We have Alexander Bettram winning a write-in campaign for New Britain municipality. We can win local. This year, I'm running for Carleton School Board, and I'm putting together a team and developing a strategy. This is a winnable race. Our local races are winnable, and I really want to encourage us to focus our energy and efforts there. And I think this is a great blueprint for doing so. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Oh, 5 seconds. All in favor of calling the question? All opposed? All right, the question has been called. Okay, so all in favor of the resolutions for Project Decentralized Revolution, please say aye.
Opposed? That passes. Thank you, Mike. All right, hearing and giving other additional announcements or anything.
I have a resolution.
Okay.
Yeah. So I did submit it to the secretary in an email. This morning, Josh Shapiro did meet with, President Zelensky in Ukraine to undermine the peace talks. So this resolution is simple. It's a resolution I would like the body to adopt condemning Governor Josh Shapiro and former Senator Bob Casey for undermining efforts to end the war in Ukraine and reaffirming the Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania's commitment to non-interventionism. Whereas the Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania stands firmly against the interventionist foreign policy that has entangled the United States in endless wars, drained the American economy, and cost countless lives. And whereas Governor Josh Shapiro and former Senator Bob Casey have consistently supported policies that prolong U.S. involvement in the conflict in Ukraine, directly contradicting growing calls from Americans across the political spectrum to pursue diplomatic solutions and an immediate cessation of hostilities. And whereas Governor Josh Shapiro and former Senator Casey have publicly undermined efforts by the current administration to engage in peace talks and de-escalate tensions, choosing instead to promote the interests of the military-industrial complex and foreign entanglements over the well-being and safety of the American people. Whereas the Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania recognizes that peace and prosperity are best achieved through free trade, diplomacy, and a foreign policy rooted in non-interventionism and respect for the sovereignty of all nations. And whereas continued funding, weapons transfers, and military aid to Ukraine not only risk escalating the conflict into a broader regional and global war, but also deepen the financial burden on hardworking Pennsylvanians through reckless deficit spending and inflationary pressures. Whereas it is not the role of the United States to serve as the world's policeman, the Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania stands resolute in opposition to all foreign military interventions that do not directly, sorry, I lost my space, defend the homeland. Therefore, be it resolved, the Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania condemns Governor Josh Shapiro and former Senator Bob Casey for their ongoing efforts to undermine diplomatic initiatives and their unwavering support for continued U.S. involvement in the war in Ukraine. It further resolved, the Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania reaffirms its steadfast commitment to a foreign policy of non-interventionism, peace through diplomacy, and the immediate cessation of all foreign military aid and entanglements that do not serve the direct defense of the American people and the territory of the United States. Be it finally resolved, the Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania urges all elected officials in the Commonwealth to reject the influence of the military-industrial complex, oppose any foreign further funding for involvement in the Ukraine conflict, and prioritize the well-being, economic stability, and liberty of Pennsylvania.
Second! We have a couple seconds and that's. One thing, in seconds.
Yeah, I have one thing that may or may not end up as an amendment.
Yeah.
Was Representative Brian Fitzpatrick at that event?
Please include.
Yes, he was. Let's say it's Brian Fitzpatrick.
Okay, that's what like.
I missed Brian.
Okay, so we have a motion to amend the amendment Brian Fitzpatrick to amend. Brian, second to that. Brian, we debate on that. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, add Brian Fitzpatrick to that. All right. All right, is there any further debate on this particular resolution? Hearing none, I'll go ahead and move to a vote. All in favor of this resolution, please say aye. All opposed? This resolution passes. Unanimous. Any other announcements or anything else we got?
Mr. Chair, this is South Westmoreland. I move to adjourn, sign die.
We have a motion to adjourn, signed, died, one second. All in favor? All opposed? My friends, we are adjourned. Board of Directors, please stick around for about 5 minutes to go ahead and get your things and come on back in here. We will have our board meeting, our March board meeting. Thank you so much.
Peter. Come hither. My photo.
Yeah.
You can go to. I saw it. Have to go to.
Thank you guys for coming. We're gonna get him this out. Yeah, yeah. We could, to go out, into the media.
I need it.
Hey.